the world. So many beautiful things to see, but none of it compares to home. I'm from paradise, SVG, so from the hills to the mountains, high. Every man, every woman, every child. If you're proud to be Vinci, put your hands up high and let me hear you say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say. This island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say. This island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say. This island is mine. Take a drive to the countryside, drop the window and feel the vibe. There's no other place I'd rather be. Me fancy girl by my side. I tell them all the while, we don't have no gold in our oil, but we have wonderful people, rich with beautiful smiles. From the hills to the mountains, high. Every man, every woman, every child. If you're proud to be Vinci, put your hands up high and let me hear you say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say, jump and say. This island is mine.
WEFM is SVG.
Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Alrighty, and the time here in SVG, it is 8:07, and we are into an interview on today's Activated Mornings program. We are going to be discussing the 2024 OECS Netball Championship. All right, and on the live, we have, okay, let's start with in studio. We have Christal and Dianna and myself, Roleza, and on the live, we have joining us Natasha Batiste, President of the SVG Netball Association, and Mr. Sean Frederick, PRO of the SVG Netball Association. So Natasha and Sean, good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. I didn't hear Sean.
Sean, what's up? What's up? We're not hearing you.
It's unmuted, but we're not hearing.
Oh, I hope it's not a little, technical difficulty, but you have a few minutes to
testing.
All right. So while gets himself sorted, good morning, Natasha. He's there?
All right. So Sean, maybe if you could, all right. I don't know if you want to come out and then go back in and see if that works.
He's speaking. You can see him speaking.
He's motioning. He's hearing us, but he's motioning. All right. So Natasha.
Good morning. Good morning.
And how are you?
I am well. Christal, morning to you, girl.
Morning. How you doing? You say well, so yeah, I'm not asking.
All right. So Natasha, tell us what is happening with this year's OECS Netball Championship.
All right. So before I even go into the OECS Championship, I just want to say, thanks to you guys for hosting us, to having us here to really speak to, our people about what is happening with netball and what is happening with our females and also our males. It's not just OECS, but we also have in September as well the America's Netball Men's Championship. So that is happening just before the OECS tournament. So there's a lot in terms of netball that's happening in September on the regional stage. So as I said, the America's Netball Men's Championship, this happens every 2 years. And this year's championship is significant because the top 5 male teams coming out of that championship will have an opportunity to be in the first male edition of the Caribbean, the Central American and Caribbean games, CSC games. So that is significant. So the guys have been preparing and they are raring and ready to go. They are still in the raising funds mode, and they would be doing various things leading up to prior to their departure. And so we have that, and then we have the OECS tournament, which has been rebranded the ECCB International Netball Series. And the reason for the rebranding is to facilitate, allow for our teams to be able to play sufficient games to help to improve their world ranking. So the ECCB, who has been a long-time sponsor of the Under 23 tournament, this tournament was upgraded in 2019 to the ECCB International Netball Series, and it's for the senior level of players, right? So this takes place also in September. So the guys travel out on the 12th. Their competition is the 12th to the 18th, and then the ECCB International Netball Series, that's from the 21st to the 30th of September. So we just roll from one into the next, and both teams have been training very hard, I must say. We had recently a series which for both teams was selection games, basically for the teams to come out and compete, and then the selectors had to do their due in selecting the persons to represent both segments of netball, male and female, and those were three exciting games. I think I'll pause here and ask Sean to come in and say a bit.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Just threw the ball to Sean there.
Are you guys hearing me?
Yes. There's a little bit of a feedback or background noise, but go ahead.
I'm in a very quiet space. I don't know why that is.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to listeners of WEFM and this amazing all-female panel. Good morning with your various topics, etc. Very good job. I must give you up on that first. Ms. Natasha is correct. The ball has been on the up and up, For years, we've been struggling not with quality players, not with the ability to have to play the game, or not just any leadership issues. What we've been struggling is to get the word out there to the general public. And that's where I stepped in, and I'm sure my task is appreciated because people really need to know what's going on, not just generally in the country, but with from the association and from netball across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because there are a number of area associations and area clubs that do host competitions and also participate and it's a mini festivals, etc. Natasha is again correct that series that we recently posted where we had a visiting team from Trinidad and Tobago, our youth academy. We had a mini series for three evenings. It's very exciting. It was supported by members of the general public as well. We had some young persons from the Trinidad and Tobago Marvel team who competed against Police Youth Club and our own in training youths. But we also had the opportunity to put to test the training of the males and the females, national males and national females, to see, as Natasha mentioned, who will fit the bill for the final cut. And we're past that. You know who they are now. But just to say that our persons who came to that event was really an amazing weekend, and we would like to see more of it. But it was also an opportunity as well for the selectors or the association itself and the men's netball team to see how the players fare after such a long stint of training.
Lovely. If you don't mind me asking a quick question, what is the interest like with male netball? I know for the most part it's seen as more of a female sport. What is it like?
Well, predominantly it was a female sport. It was females who came out all in the times with their skirts and dominated the game for many decades. But males have been playing netball since the Rock of Gibraltar was a pebble. But it's not been publicized. It's not been very popular. In societies like ours, there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of people who think the male do things that female dominates, that they either effeminate gay or something else. And for years, we struggled with that. I say years because I've been around this sport for a long time, a long time, sorry. And I've heard them myself, and I've actually, had things said at me, but not by my family, of course. But what we've seen is revolutionize, an advancement in the sport, especially where the St. Vincent Grenadines Netball Association, the body that's responsible for netball, has taken in its arms the idea of male netball. The St. Vincent men's team established themselves a few years ago, formed an executive, have a bank account well established, and have done some mini tours, Grenada, um, to and of course we hosted the first international men's series. But outside of that, there's been a lot and lot of persons who have been coming forward, and the interest have really
That's good. That's good.
All right. In terms of the playing of netball here in SVG, how widespread would you say it is? Starting,
that's a
let's say, from
question
the schools level.
for any one of us. Right,
Is
Tasha?
what?
Anyone, anyone.
All right. So, well, barring the COVID period, there has been netball competitions in schools, primary and secondary. And also, even during the COVID period, there was netball at the college when there wasn't in the other areas, the primary and the secondary. So netball is being played at all levels and in all areas in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well, the Grenadines has not been really so much playing the sport, but there are one or two persons who would come up and play with an established club or team on the mainland. And it is one of these things that we have to look at as an association to see how we can get the sport being played back in the Grenadines, because we we would have seen coming out of the police youth club competition where there are some young talented players, especially from Beckwith, because that's the only youth club that came from the Grenadines, the Beckwith Police Youth Club, and they took part in the police youth club competition that they have. And we must give hats off to the various organizations that are having organized competition. And kudos to the police youth club for really using just the younger players. They're not looking at established players to play, but the young ones, and that is a really good boost and push for the development of the sport and the longevity of the sport as well. So we are seeing a lot of talent coming out from that level, and in the various communities there are various competitions. Last week in the Richland Park Valley Sports Committee had the closing of their competition. And then there's gonna be the opening of the Chevron John competition over the Dry River, and also the Sign Hill Sports Club. They are also going to be having the opening of their competition in September. So it is widespread on the mainland. So we have to find a way, and we know that our Grenadine sisters and brothers are facing a lot right now. So even as an association, we have to see how we can reach out to get that avenue for them to be able to just release the frustration and all of that. So it is something that my executive and I will look at, along with joining forces with the sports department, to see how we can get this sport back vibrant in the Grenadine Islands as well.
That's
Uh,
good.
All right. So, two questions I have. The first question: what are the most recent matches that we have coming up? I'm not talking about the national teams traveling to play, but in terms of our internal games, do we have any of those, and what are they? And for persons who wish to join a netball club, they're not in school, but they want to play some netball. What can you tell them?
You want to play netball?
I know I'm not athletic.
If anybody knows Dianna, that is what she's thinking. Dianna wants to play netball. Dianna knows she can tag along with Sean, and she can go down to the KNC or wherever, and somebody will see her talent and select her. Trust me.
Come
But
on,
that
yeah.
aside, I think the question is we would definitely have to respond on the regional competitions. But also, I think we are in the process of preparing for this fast five competition. That's a newer version of the sport that was implemented a few years ago internationally, and it's picking up here in cities in terms of energy. So we are in the planning stage of hosting, of executing a competition for the fast five version of the sport very soon.
Okay. All right.
In
Fast
addition
five.
to,
Sorry.
in addition to Sean, we would the secondary and primary school netball championship, which is spearheaded by the sports department, will also take place. Those usually start around the month of October. So you can look out for that as well when the sports department releases the exact dates and so on. So yes, the Fast Five competition, this would be our third year having the National Fast Five competition, which is a shorter version, as Sean says, a shorter version of the sport in every aspect. The number of players, and as it says, five, so it's only 5 players on the court versus the traditional version, which is 7, and the quarters are shorter, 6 minutes versus 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So everything about it is the shortened version. But it is also very exciting, and you can shoot your 3 pointers. I see Christal smiling away. You can shoot your 3 pointers. You can have your 2 pointers, and then there is power play segment where all of those points are doubled. So if you shoot a 3 pointer, it becomes 6. It becomes 6 goals. So it's an exciting version of the sport. We were hoping this year also to have our firms and industrial tournament as well this year. But given all that has been happening, we weren't able to pull all the pieces together in sufficient time so that we don't have an overlap of competitions. So we are looking that we can actually have this maybe early next year, Sean,
Definitely.
so that we can not be regular netballers. So like Christal, who
Of
don't,
course,
and I'm
BFM
calling Christal
strikers.
name because I know Christal very well. I don't know the other two young ladies, the names haven't stuck yet. So, Christal can put on her netball clothes, gather the other two young ladies who are in the studio, and pull some of the guys as well from WEFM.
Yes,
And no, you don't need a lot of money, Christal. You just need a little $200, maybe $300
registration.
register, and just find a nice black pants and a t-shirt, and you're good to go. Right? So it's really for those persons in the work environment who don't necessarily play netball all the time, but wants to come out and be on the court and have some fun. Yes, it becomes competitive, but it is really fun and it's enjoyable. I remember myself playing forms industrial tournaments with Anjanella Young and those persons way back. And it was fun because as an organization, you come together outside of the workspace and just enjoy, that fun time playing on the court and stuff like that. So look out for that and look out for information for that as well.
Oh
Natasha,
my
if I may
God.
add, if Crystal Low Traders, you have to do. We have just converted 3 young ladies into netball. Don't even,
Exactly.
y'all
What a
faces alone selling all out. And I know there are others. You see those
Who
blogs
are these
y'all have been
ladies?
doing, all those TikTok things y'all been doing, come down to the court and let me shoot some balls. So let me get those likes up. But it's really an important point that Natasha made regarding to the firms and also the fast five, because there are a lot of persons who, based on time and other things, that have prevented them from actually being full time in the sport, joining a club, participating in all of the tournaments, etc., etc. Their parents, they're working, but there are these opportunities where they can participate in these shorter competitions. Natasha did not tell you all the truth. The fast five is shorter. It's exciting, but it's harder. It's
Oh,
very
so
hard
that's
to
not
play
the header.
because you're talking about speed. You have to be really quick, 5 players on the court as opposed to 7. So you don't have that support there. But it is really,
Yeah.
really a good innovation, good I think added to the sport in terms of fast five.
Okay.
No,
And
sorry.
the question I was asked about, if you want to play netball and you
Right.
want to join a
Mhm.
club, what we normally would advise persons, just shoot us an email to the svgnetball@gmail.com, and then we, based on where you're located and so on, then we would make recommendation to which club or someone that is within that vicinity that you are in, so it's easier for you to be able to attend practice sessions and stuff like that. So if you are out there and you are young at heart and young at age, and you want to become a member of a team or club, just send us an email at svgnetball@gmail.com, and then we will refer you to a club or team that is closest to you, to allow you to be able to develop that skill and love for the sport.
Hmm.
And also,
Now
there
the
are several
reason,
committees
oh,
or the
sorry.
executive that definitely need some of your expertise in terms of, for example, my committee, which is the PR marketing committee. I mean, there are other ways you can contribute towards the development of the sport. I want to make this point before I go because it's on my mind. We are our home is KNT at New Montrose. We are in conversation with the powers that be in terms of having that facility upgraded or completely redone because it's very old. It's over 80 years old. And the elements, various storms and rains and constant, bombardments by nature itself. The space is deteriorating. And we also know that the space at Annisville, because of the renovations, that's going to take a while to get back to where it is. So we are in conversations because we want to have that space properly renovated or redone. We can rip the whole thing down and build a nice indoor netball facility. And also, we are looking for corporate friends. I think the Vinci Jewels would like to have them branded so that they could do more uh, tournaments and competitions outside of St. Vincent so that they could get more exposure. And it could also improve on our ranking. And we are looking for that corporate friend who are willing to partner with the St. Vincent and Grenadines Netball Association and let us build that relationship so that we can have that support and we don't have to always be doing it, which we really enjoy the fundraisers or, as we say, begging. But we want someone in St. Vincent to say, look, netball is an important sport. It helps the development of women and young girls and not only men, of course, but particularly for the females, the national teams. We'd love to have a corporate friend. We'd love to have somebody to say, let us see how we can build a relationship for 2 or 3 years or so, and then once
Yeah.
the relationship thing, we can go back to the altar and pick up yourself again.
Yeah, that's really important. Now,
Yes.
the reason I was smiling, right, is because you guys were taking me back to my childhood. My aunt played with Vitamalt Maples. Big up to Vitamalt Maples.
Ooh, Natasha.
And so Vitamalt Maples like dominated the netball
Yeah,
scene.
yes.
Let me see, 90s, early 2000s, thereabouts. So like Leslie McKenzie, Skitty Francis Crick, the Foster sisters, Shoreline, all those ladies, like I'm familiar with them. So I used to score and I used to be a button show. I actually played for Kingston Prep School for games. And that was the end of my football.
No, no,
You
no,
have
that's not the end. You're coming back.
right
Okay. So I mean, I am like pretty familiar with like how it's played and what's not. So maybe you guys will see me, get back in there.
See? I come for you.
I'll teach WFM.
All right. So a question though, with regards to, all right, so we know that, let's say track and field, there are avenues as if for scholarships for persons to further their education, etc. What is that facility like in a sense for persons who may be wanting to play netball? How can they advance themselves further or even capitalize on other opportunities outside of using netball, but outside of SVG?
there. Okay, so currently there isn't a scholarship platform outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now for netball, right? The regional and international bodies are looking at how they can partner with various universities to have that, but nothing is in place at the moment. However, locally, our title sponsor for national tournament, or I usually say our partner, right? Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they have they as part of the partnership agreement has offered scholarship for persons who are now graduating from secondary school going into community college to have a 2-year scholarship program. Last year we had two recipients of that scholarship because of the COVID period. The scholarship rollover, because the partnership is for there to be one scholarship each year, and it was a 3-year partnership. And we did not have, prior to last year, any awardees. So last year, two persons were awarded, and this year, one person would be awarded a scholarship to continue their studies at the SVG Community College. And it is our hope that through the continuation of that partnership, that this sort of scholarship can evolve even further, and other corporate entities can come on board and partner. I know a lot of entities have their own scholarship program, but it's good because for them to tie it in with sport, whether it is, I mean, I would put in the plug just for netball, because I am biased to netball, but it does not necessarily have to be for netball only. It can be for, other disciplines, because we want to collectively, through sports, help our young people to develop, right? And because the college also has their sports psychology, their sports program, all right, it's essential for corporate St. Vincent to come on board to help to get these scholarships, because that program has been developing and has been attracting a lot of students. I know I'm touching on a lot of things today. Has been attracting a lot of students. We have our captain of the senior team, Miss Kimisha Antoine, who's currently enrolled in that program at the community college. And all the reviews that we get from time to time from lecturers, from the person who is in charge of that program, is that she is doing very well. And when we see her at training, we can tell that program is already enhancing her holistic development. So that's the avenue we have. And as I said, I mean, there are opportunities once we get our players the opportunity to play outside of the region. And that takes, corporate involvement. Is not, I mean, the government can't do everything. So we need the corporate St. Vincent as well to come on board. So if we get our players exposed outside of the region, then there are opportunities for them to be drafted into top teams abroad, which will then give them the opportunity for university studies as well, where they can continue their educational development.
Very nice.
Good.
So the
Good.
teams, can we name the teams?
So I would name the females, and I'll ask Sean to list the male team, because he is a part of that squad that will travel. But before I name the team, I want to say here that we held our summer program, um, thanks to the SVG Olympic Committee, after a long break, and we had almost 50 young people under the age of 16 years old. We had a starting age of 9, but put we had as young as 7 years old that came to the summer program. So that in itself, for me and for the association, was a huge, huge success, and they are enthusiastic. So we're trying to see how we can keep them together and maybe have multiple teams, so that they are able to continue the love and the excitement that they would have developed for the sport over the summer program. So on to the naming of the team. This is the the squad that would represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the ECCB International Netball Series. And as I mentioned, this is a ranking series that would allow us to be able to move up in the ranking. I don't ever speak about the downsides to help us move up in the rankings. Right? So in no specific order or anything, we have Miss Josiane Antwine, Miss Kelisha Barber, Miss Miriam Frederick, Sharicia York, Kyla Miller, Christiana Christopher, Jamara Coombs, Kiwana Charles, Zanik Vincent, Shalissa Davis, Vice Captain Shania Pompey, and Captain Kimisha Antwine. We have 3 reserves that were named: Jamira Coombs, Janice Lowe, and Naya Miller. I want to say here that we have 2 debutants. One is, she has been playing netball for just under 2 years, right? She started playing netball just under 2 years. And the growth and development that she would have demonstrated, having represented St. Vincent at the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago last year. And then she was part of the under 21 squad that was preparing for the qualifiers, but unfortunately we could not attend the qualifiers. And she's now in, and that's Jamara Coombs. She's now into the senior outfit, and it is part of our push to have the young persons coming in and feeding into the seniors, so that we have that level of continuity. So it's a succession process as well, getting the young people in. So the management team that would accompany this team, the manager is Mrs. Giovanni Charles Roberts. The physio is Mr. Javed Maxman, and myself will attend as coach of the team. So that's the females, that would be female contingent that would represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the ECCB International Netball Series. And over to you, Sean.
Yes, thank you very
Lovely.
much, Natasha. I mean, because all the men are very training very, very hard, and you can see the passion and all of that. So before I start naming the players who selected, I would also like to plug that we are having activity, a joint activity this Saturday at the Kingston Netball Center, starting at 5 o'clock. It's close and line. So we are encouraging persons to come out and give us, their support. We're still in the process of raising funds to make our trip to syndicates, successful. And we'll see a matchup again between the national females and the males. You can come there and engage in various games, like table games and so on, and also with netball. The entrance fee is free, definitely free, but you're asking to support the grill. I can't tell you what will be on the grill just yet, but once you come on Saturday,
You must get something to eat.
Something on the grill. Better have
All
pork.
right. All right, Natasha, I don't know if you want to fill us in until Sean returns.
Okay, so I unfortunately don't have the list of the males at hand with me, but once Sean connection comes in, he'll be able to give that. But the male team, they have been doing quite a bit of work, and they are proudly sponsored by Intercaribbean. So Intercaribbean will be the airline that takes them to St. Kitts and Nevis, right? But on the female out front, I just want to mention some of the partners that are on board with us to help us to be able to go to St. Lucia to compete and bring back the title, the championship title, which escaped us last year. So I want to mention Air Delphi, who came on board without hesitation to facilitate us getting over to St. Lucia, the National Lotteries Authority, and we know that the National Lotteries Authority is there to provide support for sports and culture, the SVG Olympic Committee. And I would pause here to say that the SVG Olympic Committee has been very much on board with the SVG Netball Association, and as I mentioned, they were the main sponsor for our summer program, and they have also, been able to assist us to facilitate us obtaining necessary equipment and so on that is needed for the preparation and advancement of the sport. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, they are the title sponsors, but they also are providing additional support to all the countries all the OECS countries that are traveling to St. Lucia, to assist to defray some of the air cost and all of that. And Mr. Michael Oliver from Mike's Screen, for always being on board with us and, at a snap of a finger, providing support with all our printing needs for T-shirts or however. So we want to thank these persons. And we again appeal corporate St. Vincent, come on board, because there are more things that are happening, and I know that we will be back on WEFM so that we can talk about the things that are going to be happening in 2025 and also 2026, because we have to, start preparing for those major competitions that are ahead. So Sean, over back to you.
Okay, let's.
Okay,
So this thing is very challenging, but we have to cope with it. Yes, just to also plug the fact that we are open to ideas. We are an association yet. We have our aims and objectives and so on, but the general public, there are persons out there who have a passion for sports and want to see it develop. We are one of those organizations. Welcome your recommendations. You can send an email to us, making recommendations or suggestions of how we can grow the sport, especially in the rural areas. I said, we spoke earlier about the challenges we're having in the Grenadines. We are open to partnership and seeing how we can bridge that gap and making netball, providing netball and everything else that we enjoy so much in Kingston, St. Vincent, especially to the Grenadines and also other rural. A lot of people say they want to play the sports, they want to get involved, but transportation or they live too far and all sort of stuff. We want to know if we can come to you, or we can, like we did a few years ago in Phobia, and it was an amazing collaboration where we went and did some HIV testing in the community and some education with the community on access to services for women and persons, etc. And we played sports and people came out with their ice boxes. It was a vibe. So I mean, things like that, we would like to do more of that instead of just sitting down at the on our laurels and enjoying a tour of doing nothing. We are a progressive executive. We're open to ideas. We're open to partnership. And yes, corporate citizens, we know that it's not new pockets for us. It's partnership, love, and support, helping to grow something that will ultimately benefit young people.
All right, the list of names of the members.
Oh, the list of names, I won't be able to, because once I go out, because it's on my phone, and I have to, I'll just say on your live. If I go out, you're gonna lose me again.
Okay.
So yes, but we'll be heading to St. Kitts on the 11th. The competing with the International Men's Series is also a qualifiers for CSC Games that's happening in, I think it's Santo Domingo in 2026. I think the top 3 or 4 teams from this competition could qualify. I have to verify that, but I think that's it. I think I'm correct. But so we're not just aiming to win, we are aiming to qualify for the CSC Games and represent St. Vincent even further.
Nice.
All right.
So what you can do is send us the list for both male and female, so we can have that, because we don't want to type wrong for people. Okay. Send it to the same email that I would have sent you the link. We'll get a story going as well.
Okay.
All right. So to wrap up.
All right. So I'll go first, and then I'll allow the PRO to bring it home. we continue to work to develop netball, and that is our ultimate goal as an executive, as an association, to develop netball in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But one of my passion is holistic development. So it's not just about playing the game, coming on the court and bust a sweat and that's it. I my passion to see holistic development in terms of our young ladies and our men that play the sport represent themselves first, represent themselves at a level that is above everything else, and then that sort of discipline and that sort of self-respect will naturally transcend into the sport. So we will be doing we have touched base with a number of persons who are in the development of etiquettes and those areas to come on board and work with our athletes so that they can develop as a positive contributor to our society, right? We have teachers, we have persons who are attached to the sports department, who go out to schools to do coaching and stuff like that, and we are committed to ensuring that they have the tools necessary to be able to impart the knowledge and to be able to help those that they have been given charge of to just to develop. So that's and Sean will bear me upon it. I always talk about our netballers being ambassadors for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, ambassadors for our partners. So as we continue the whole thrust to, as our motto is, striving for excellence, as we continue to strive for excellence, we, from time to time, we will be on the radio, on social media, just reaching out and letting the public know what we are doing and where they can contribute to help us further develop netball and further develop our athletes and our administrators and all our stakeholders. Sean mentioned about our facility and what need to be done there. So another appeal. And another appeal, I don't ever try to miss this opportunity to appeal for an indoor facility. It is needed, it is necessary. If we are able to host, we are at this particular point, we really cannot host any regional competition at the level that we should, because we do not have an indoor facility. So it means that our team most times will have to all our teams most time will have to always travel out. So the local public are will not be able to see our girls in action on home soil because we don't have the facilities to accommodate such. So I am putting an appeal out there again for serious consideration be taken to having an indoor facility. And it would not just be for netball, because we have basketball, we have volleyball, and those other disciplines as well that can also utilize an indoor facility. So I'm putting an appeal out there for the powers to really seriously consider having a proper indoor facility so that we can put bids to host qualifiers, we can put bids up there to hold major tournaments. So that is my on wrapping up. Thanks to WEFM and thanks to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for supporting the SVG Netball Association and all our endeavors as we continue to work together to develop sport. Sports tourism is a big thing. And I don't think that as a nation that we have really tapped into the potential of sports tourism. I mean, we saw it with the cricket, and it can be done with other disciplines. We just have to collectively, put our heads together and tap into that. It's a great revenue owner for our country, sports tourism. So I hope that all those who are listening and who has the influence, right, that they put that high on the agenda. Yes, we push in tourism, but sports tourism is a major part of revenue earning for any nation. So thank you again for having me and the SVG Netball Association, and I turn over to my PRO who will bring it home.
Thank you. Do I need to say anything else? Guys, what we know is our country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, have a lot of talent. We know that. We know the young people are passionate and they have a drive, a burning thing inside of them that they want to be seen and they want to showcase their talent. We have to provide a platform for them. We have to encourage them because these young people, when they leave school or their homes, they come to us and they belong to us. Natasha's a coach and she knows this. It's not just about forcing or putting things on their throat about learning certain drills or gameplay. It's about sitting down and listening to them. And how was your day? There's prayer a part of our sessions. Get a chance to just breathe and relax and come to the space. That is what we're trying to do with the young ladies. And that's what we're trying to do in terms of our approach to netball, in terms of the development aspect of it. Christal mentioned earlier about she had a stint at scoring. We are looking for scorers. We are looking for persons to be timers. We're looking for persons to come around the sport and learn the different technical parts of things that are needed when we have competitions. We have these individuals and there are development sessions on Wednesdays. We now move that virtually. That's headed by Citizens Best, Mr. Moet Games. So we know those things, but what we want Vincentians to know even more is the fact that, like everything else, we're having some challenges, especially with finance. Natasha mentioned about we having to travel out all the time, and you know how expensive that could be. You would like to see the budget that we're put together when we're traveling to these competitions. And also, the PM have mentioned about us having the best chance of producing the best rank in terms of netball or sports in general, and that's possible. That's even more so if we get an opportunity to go and play against other teams, especially part of the Americas, like obviously Barbados. I have a mini series with and Natasha can't remember the team.
Northern Ireland.
Ireland. So we would like to do more things like that so that our ranking gives us a better chance for that. So as I mentioned, I think I was cut off when I was mentioning it that I want to plug that we're having an activity this Saturday at the Kingston Netball Center. It's roast and lime, so it's free, and we're having a matchup between the males and the females as well. It's a fundraiser activity for St. Kitts. We have the females who are preparing to go. We're still looking for support for that. So all in all, we've said a lot, and I just want people to know that we're there. We are open to ideas. We're looking, and we're hoping that more persons come on board and give us their support. So yeah.
All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Sean Frederick, PRO of the SVG Netball Association, and Ms. Natasha Batiste, President of the Netball SVG or the SVG Netball Association, for joining us this morning. All right. We are happy to have conducted this interview with you guys. I know nothing about netball. I saw standing and pivoting. That's like the one thing I knew. Right?
Yeah,
But
let me teach you some stuff after work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm always happy to hear of sports happening here in SVG. I'm always happy to hear of persons, even as if they don't take it to another extent in terms of, let's say, representing the nation, but getting involved in physical activity. All right.
Yeah,
so
boy.
I am happy that we had this interview with you guys, and I'm hoping that the pleas, the pledges, the requests that were put out have fallen on the ears that need to hear them, and that there will be further development of the sport here in SVG.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right?
dreaming of that indoor sporting facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, if everybody has a vision, then it could come to fruition.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Let me ask you one quick question before you go,
No, she
right?
would play. Yeah, this is when she would come and play.
No. Two, actually. Do you still score with the metal tags, or do you have something else?
We have an electronic scoreboard now.
Yeah, Sheila.
We want to elevate you, Christian. We are talking about scoring in the book, becoming an official scorer. We don't do that. We don't do that anymore. Come on.
Oh that God, because I remember one incident with those. I'm trying to remember the seventh position. So it's center, wing attack, wing defense, goal keep, goal attack, goal shoot.
Goal
What am I saying?
defense.
Goal
Goal
defense.
defense.
Oh, okay, goal defense. Nice.
Look for her this year,
Come
all
in.
right?
I know to come in. Christian.
Look for her.
Yeah, come in. If once I have time on Saturday, I'll try to my best to swing. But what time you said starting?
I would start at 5, but I think around 6 o'clock is when things will heat up.
You mean the girl or people?
Well, both.
Oh.
Both.
Bunch of
Just
have a
say safely
small
5:30.
city.
Let's say safely 5:30. I'm a man of
Okay,
time, you know that.
understood. I'll try my best to make it. And
Thank
I'll
you very
drag
much, sir.
Roleza
It's
and
free.
Dianna.
Yeah.
It's free entry.
Yes,
Free
okay.
entry.
Free entry.
Wrote that time and he said it's free. So I am saying it's free entry.
And free, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No free
Yeah.
food, right? We ain't coming free for free food.
Well, if you want to contribute $10, you can eat all you like.
Yeah. Do people
All
still
right.
sell, sorry, like a little nostalgic. Do people still sell those milk popsicles in plastic?
Yeah. There's the hottest selling thing at Nutrition. And
And
grandma.
yes, those popsicles are still there, Christal.
Yeah.
Good
No,
stuff.
the flavor, other flavors, yeah.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. It's been a pleasure talking with you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And
All right.
you'll
Bye.
see us again when we come back from our both tournaments. We will join again so that we can update. Although we know that St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be following all the matches. So as soon as we get the live stream link, we will share it so that our people can follow us as we take these two journeys out to represent well.
Yes, looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks very much again, guys. And yes, we look forward to a follow-up interview with both of you. All right. So take care and all the best from all of us here at WeFM and of course our listeners. All right. So take care.
All right,
Peace.
take care. Bye.
Millennials.
All right. So at this time we are going to jump right into our commercials at this